Shabbos, Parshas, Korach. Korach revolutionized Klal Yisrael. He was a motivational speaker. He was charismatic. He got everyone to gather around to see what would happen. What was going to be the ultimatum? Was Korach right? Was Moshe right? Whatever it was, people weren't sure how this was going to end. They didn't just come there to see Korach's demise. It seems that there was like an uncertainty. He really had Klal Yisrael on the ropes. I think it's remarkable to watch how Moshe Rabbeinu responded, so calculated, so like he just kept checking in with Hashem. He's like, oh, so I'm getting backlash from this Korach, and he seems to be making some points. Maybe they're valid, maybe they're not. Hashem, what do I do? And then step by step, Hashem says, do this, do that. I'm going to eat him alive with the ground, Okay. The Mishnah in Pirkei Avos says that there are two types of machloksim. There's a machlokes that's l'shem shemayim, and a machlokes that's not l'shem shemayim. Machlokes that's l'shem shemayim is like Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai, and that's one is that will be miskayim, right? So the Hasidic Vort is that if the guy thinks that his machlokes is l'shem shemayim, it's gonna be miskayim. He's never gonna give it up because like I'm mamash doing God's work here. But machlokes, the quintessential machlokes that's not l'shem shemayim is Korach va'adasai. Crazy nakuda. The machlokes wasn't between Korach and Adasai, right? It's machlokes Hillel versus Shammai. Machlokes Korach and it should be Moshe. No, Korach va'adasai. When it's not l'shem shemayim, there's no internal bond. It seems that there was a schism, a chasm, a conflict within the actual movement. You see this with Edmund Pellis and his wife. Although Edmund Pellis himself didn't, he wasn't the turncoat. He fell asleep. But his wife made a point. No matter who wins, whether it's Moshe, whether it's Korach, you're still going to be a minion. You're not going to be the Kohen Gadol. Korach's going to take that, right? And if Korach's wrong, then you're just going to be devoured with him. There's a zero-sum game here. You're going to lose no matter what. Korach and Adasai. That's where the machlokes was. And yeah, where do we see that Korach was Shaloi L'Shem Shemayim? His whole campaign was very, very holy. It was a campaign that why should kahuna be given to one person? V'amech kulam tzadikim. You're all kohanim. Why? V'amech kulam kohanim was his platform. You're all great. You're amazing. He created a movement like no other. Elamai, the Mishnah Pirkei Avos tells us, it wasn't l'shem shemayim. Korach had a personal agenda. He was jealous. He wanted the position. He wanted the power. He wanted the covet. He wanted what Aaron had. It wasn't his place in life. His place was with Kohos. His place was carrying the kelim of the Beis Hamikdash of the Mishkan. But that wasn't enough for him because there was more. Kina taiva v'akavod moitzias adam min ha'olam. Min ha'olam brought him down into the earth. Mamish devoured him and everyone who he touched, his neighbors, the whole Sefer Reuven, or the Rosh Hashanah. On the other hand, there are people who are just gold, and they realize that this is Min HaShamayim. Even Moshe didn't take this up like a personal affront. He said, you know what, Korach, maybe you're right. Let's see what Hashem has to say. Shapsi Frankel of the famed Frankel Rambam. Now, besides for laying it out very nicely, like the Vilna Shas, we take the Tzuras Hadaf for granted, but like the first people to like design the Shas that way, we owe a tremendous debt of gratitude. So with the Frankel edition of the Rambam, it was more than just a typeset. He researched tremendously to compile the Rambam that we have today. We're talking about nuschos and very, you ask any brisker whether the lashon of the Rambam makes a difference. Like huge cataclysmic differences. And he went around gathering all these ancient scripts from the Rambam. The Rambam got the special ink from Eliyahu Hanavi to that would last. We have so many ksavim of the Rambam still today. We're talking 1,000 years later because he had this amazing ink. And in any event, there was one manuscript of the Rambam which he was struggling to get a hold of. Tremendous legalities, red tape, lawyers, a fortune of money later, and it was sitting on his desk. It takes a while to actually decode what's written here, put the missing pieces together. In any event, his assistant leaned over, and as is the minhag in all our Batei Midrashim and many offices worldwide, the coffee spilled. And the manuscript was just there. It wasn't packaged yet, it just arrived. And it was just covered in coffee. And coffee in ancient manuscripts, if you didn't know this, okay, you learned it here, don't go well together, okay? It's a recipe for a lack of ancient manuscript. It was gone. It was gone. The letters just peeled and melted. It was no longer. Shabsi Frankel leaves the room. And his assistant is shaking in his boots. It's like, that's a career down the drain, you know? Like, I can't afford this. It's literally irreplaceable. This is Rambam's handwriting. Shabsi Frankel comes back into the room a minute and a half later, and he hands him a new cup of coffee. No, manuscript's gone. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Order a new one on Amazon. What are you gonna do? But it looks like you need a cup of coffee. That's what it means to be impenetrable, to be someone who lives with their Rebbeinu Shalom. There's a right thing to do in every given moment. And as much as we could learn from the feelings of Korach, we could learn from the reaction of Moshe Rabbeinu. May we be zeicha to experience a clarity in our relationships with others, with our relationship with ourselves, and with the Rebbeinu Shalom. Be'ez Hashem, we should see Gula Shlema B'Karev. Acheinu kol beis Yisrael hanesunim batzara uvashivya hoim dim bein bayam uvein bayam bosho hamokoim yirachem alehem Bagala uvizman kariv v'neimar amen. Good Shabbos.